Ethan never planned for his life to fall apart. No one ever does. One day you're managing, convincing yourself you're fine, and the next, you're carrying a weight so heavy you can barely breathe. This is a story about Ethan, a man who felt completely invisible to the world, and the stranger who unknowingly saved his life with one simple act of kindness. Stay with this story because it might change how you see the people around you and yourself.
Ethan was the kind of person people rarely worried about. He showed up on time. He smiled when required. He said, "I'm good," whenever someone asked how he was doing. But behind that practiced calm was a man slowly breaking. In the span of 2 years, Ethan lost his mother, his long-term relationship, and the job he thought would be his future. Each loss alone was manageable. Together, they hollowed him out. Nights became longer, silence became louder, and loneliness became his normal. His phone stayed quiet. Friends had their own lives. Family assumed he was handling things. He stopped reaching out, not because he didn't care, but because he didn't want to be a burden. He existed in rooms full of people and still felt unseen. The most dangerous kind of loneliness isn't being alone, it's feeling invisible while surrounded by others. One cold afternoon, Ethan found himself wandering the city with no destination. His thoughts looped endlessly. What's the point? Would anyone even notice if I disappeared? He wasn't looking for attention or sympathy. He was just tired in a way sleep could never fix. That afternoon, continuing felt harder than stopping.
Daniel was running late that day. He had errands to finish and places to be. He almost didn't notice Ethan sitting alone on a bench, staring at nothing. Almost. Something made Daniel slow down. Maybe it was the way Ethan's shoulders curved inward, or the emptiness in his eyes. Daniel didn't know his story. He didn't know how close he was to the edge. He just knew something felt off.
Daniel stopped and said, "Hey, I don't mean to intrude, but are you okay?"
6 words. That's all it took. Ethan's chest tightened and his throat burned. For the first time in months, maybe years, someone had noticed. Not because they had to, not because they knew him, but because they chose to.
Ethan didn't spill his life story. He didn't know how. He just said, "I've had a rough time." Daniel nodded and sat down anyway. They talked about nothing important, the weather, the noise of the city, how fast life moves. But beneath the small talk was something powerful, presence. Daniel stayed, and in that quiet moment, the pressure inside Ethan's chest slowly began to ease. There's something uniquely powerful about kindness from a stranger. Friends care because they're supposed to. Strangers care because they choose to. That choice sent Ethan a message he desperately needed. You matter, even now, even like this. After a while, Daniel stood up, wished Ethan well, and continued on his way. He probably forgot about the interaction by the end of the day. For him, it was a small pause in a busy schedule. For Ethan, it was a turning point. That moment didn't fix everything. Life didn't suddenly become easy, but hope cracked through the darkness. Ethan chose to stay. He eventually asked for help. He started talking again. Slowly, painfully, he rebuilt. And every time the world felt heavy, he remembered that bench and that question. Years later, Ethan found himself noticing someone else, sitting alone, carrying that same quiet sadness. And without overthinking it, he stopped. He asked, "Are you okay?" And in that moment, the kindness that once saved him continued forward.
This is how hope survives, not through grand gestures, but through ordinary people choosing to care. If this story moved you, take a moment to think about how powerful your smallest actions can be. You never know what someone else is carrying or how close they might be to giving up. If you believe kindness still matters, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more character-driven human stories, and share this with someone who might need it today. Sometimes one simple question can change everything.